So, dear parents, parenting teenagers isn't the same as parenting a child. But the unfortunate thing is that many parents unconsciously and unintentionally don't make that shift. And it leads to conflict, it leads to distance in relationship, and it leads to stress at home. But today, I want to share 5 biggest mistakes parents make when their kids become teenagers. And then I'm going to share what we can do differently to build the trust and the connection and the respect that we both desire in that parent teen relationship. So, mistake number one, first of all, is treating your teen like a child. Many parents don't make that shift. They're still holding on to the control instead of adjusting to their teenagers' growing independence. Because as children become teenagers, they start to naturally seek independence. And when parents hold on tightly to control, there's lots of conflicts that happens on the way. So teenagers, yes, they do need guidance, but they don't need micromanagement. A quick example. Let's say, for example, you're still packing their bags or you're still speaking to them like they're 7 years old. Instead, what we need to do is shift to mentoring, involve them in the decisions. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this stuff that we're about to do? Get their opinions in, respect their inputs so that you can start to gain back, or you can even start to hear their voices come up through, and it gives them confidence as well. So that's mistake number one, treating your teen like a child. Now, mistake number two is focusing only on the behavior and not the relationship. You see, the teen stage is a stage where the relationship we have with them needs to flourish some more and more. But I know, yes, their behaviors start to change because they're not behaving anymore like they were behaving when they were kids. They're now testing boundaries. They're now, you know what it's like being a teenager. But still, this is the time to still focus on the relationship. Many parents obsess over their teenagers, their grades, their chores, their manners, but they neglect that emotional bond that needs to exist because that emotional bond is even what makes your teenager thrive in those other areas that you're seeking for. So try to look more on connection over correction. And we're not saying don't correct. We're just saying make sure that you have more connection over the corrections. When relationship is weak, the corrections that we're trying to show them or tell them, it doesn't stick. And so that's one thing I want us to remember. So rather than prioritizing, focusing only on behavior, I would encourage parents to prioritize conversations, have shared moments, and listen without judgment. And yes, you may not have 24/7. It's not about the quantity of time, but it's about the quality of time that you spend with your teenagers. Okay? And mistake number three is using the wrong language. Yes, talking down to your teens, nagging, dismissing their feelings, constantly criticizing them, or using phrases like "because I said so" or "you'll understand when you get older." We need to start adjusting those phrases. And I'll give you an example. So instead of saying "because I said so," you can say stuff like, "let me explain why this matters. And then I want to actually hear your own thoughts." Very, very important. Or instead of saying, "don't talk back to me," because a lot of times when we say that, "don't talk back to me," it's already in an angry mode. So instead of saying, "don't talk back to me," say, "I want to hear your point of view, but let's keep the tone respectful." Very important, so that your teenager learns that it's okay to challenge, but say it with respect. Because the more they can challenge us respectfully, they can challenge their own friends as well out there and get into less issues with negative peer pressure. So it's really key. Mistake number four is ignoring their world. Parents, sometimes we underestimate the influence of friends, social media, and the culture that our young people have. But when we ignore it, guess what happens? Our teenagers are going to turn elsewhere for answers. That's what's just going to naturally happen. So what we need to do instead is step into their world. Ask them about their music, friends, online platform. Don't judge them. Just stay curious. Just joke with them about it. I remember one time we were listening to some music in the car, and the person who was rapping was saying, "Oh, my dog died and I was very upset about it." So I'm thinking, oh. So I was like, as I was driving, I was like, but that's very strange for, like, I was just saying, oh, musicians, artists, come, he's missing, oh, bless, he's missing his dog. And my kids just busted out laughing at me. They said, Mom, it's dog. I said DAUG, not DOG. And we all had a laugh about it, you know. And I was like, oh, so you guys are now making fun of me because I didn't understand. How was I supposed to know they meant DAWG, not DOG? I was just like impressed that, oh, bless, he's missing his dog, not knowing that is about his mates, his friend. But, you know, get into their world, have those laughs with them. It really, really does pay off. It really pays off. So that's mistake number 4, ignoring their world. And then mistake number 5 is neglecting. As our children are growing, we need to grow as well. I shared a quote some time ago where I said, our teenagers are going to grow irrespective. And it's so important that as our children, our teenagers are growing, we are growing as well. If we stop growing, where we stick to the same parenting style, we're not changing anything, we're still talking to them as if they were 8 years old, our teenagers are going to keep growing. And can you see can you see what's happening with my hands? The parent is here, the teenager keeps growing. And so you can see the gap that is happening. The ideal thing is to commit to growing with your child. So as your teenager is growing, you are growing as well. And you can see, you then come together, you are growing as well. That's what it needs to be. You need to be growing as well with your teenagers, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Do you know what? Parenting teenagers requires a new you. You cannot parent teenagers the way you were parenting them when they were young. It would not work. They will leave us behind. So really, a call to action, or let me just even summarize what I'm trying to say very quickly. Remember, avoid treating them like kids. Don't put behavior over relationship. Mind your language and don't ignore their world. And the 5th one was never stop growing yourself. We do need to grow. So I'm going to ask you this question before I leave. Which of these mistakes do you recognize in your home? Comment below and let's talk more about it. And you know what? In next week's video, what I'm going to share in next week's video is I'm going to show you exactly how to talk to your teenagers so that they actually listen to you. So subscribe now so you don't miss it. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.